1.0 is more about making a living. It is more about survival, right?
Right.
So when you come out of the college, all you wanted to do is get a job, and you get $100,000 job with a free car, with the pension, with the golden handcuff. You think you are done, but then you realize after the 12 years, you're saying it's not done. You got to start all over again. And so, on the comparing to 3.0, 3.0 is not about survival. It's about, what can you do differently that you have not done before. You could go to Ivy League school, but still you lack the base. You're not going to go too far, right? And then that's how I realized, look, when I was in India, I wanted to go into IIT. I couldn't get admitted into IIT. The closest I could get was College of Engineering, Indy. So I always was obsessed and fascinated about IIT, but then I settled that score by having IITians work for me.
Right.
Yeah, so if you cannot go to school, don't worry about it. Make those 5 guys work for you. You even hire an IIT professor. Why the hell
Yes.
you are? Why are you limited in your thinking? I said,
Yes.
wow, I'm so happy. IITians are working. I checked the box.
Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to the Limitless Show. I am your host, Anshu, and we have been talking consistently over the last 80 episodes with highly successful people from around the world, getting into their minds, finding out what makes them tick, and getting deeper into their mindsets, their successes, their journeys, their challenges, how they overcame them, and so much more. So today we have a highly successful entrepreneur who's also an author now and a philanthropist. His name is Tel Ganesan, and he's the managing director of Kiba Innovations, and he's the founder executive producer of Kiba Films. He is also the chairman of the board of Kiba, and he's currently the president of the Indus Entrepreneurs Get Right chapter for their third term. Not only that, he's also a member of the C-suite screening committee, which is called ASKIA, and it's a global community which is dedicated to the success of women-led high-growth ventures at all stages of growth. Now, not only that, he is a very, very multifaceted person, and he has appeared on several TV and radio interviews such as Fox, Detroit Public TV, WWJ News. Then he has also been featured in numerous digital and print media like the Financial Times, Detroit News, and so on and so forth. He has received several awards in excellence and honor, such as Diversity Business Leader, Ernst and Young Entrepreneur of the Year, then Outstanding Young Asian American of Michigan, and there are so many of them. And just to note, he is also a much sought after public speaker. So, with a warm round of applause, let's bring forth Tel Ganesan with us. Welcome to the Limitless Show, Tel. How have you been doing?
Excellent, Anshu. Glad to be on your show. And
Thank you so
glad to
much.
join the conversation. Yes.
Wonderful. So it is basically in the show, the first thing we begin is always with the guest introducing himself to the public. So would you, go ahead and tell us a little about your journey, where you began from, and how you have come to the place you are at? What were some of the challenges, some of the things that you faced, and how you turned it around and you came to the place you are at right now?
So passion for cars brought me to Detroit, and when almost 3 decades ago, I came here when I was 21, graduating from College of Engineering, Gindi, Anna University. Back then we used to call Madras, then it became Chennai now, and so I've been here since then, and like anybody else, came here for the American dream, and then also I started working at Chrysler Corporation. I would call that as a 1.0, Tel 1.0, and then I did that for about 12 years. Then I plunged into entrepreneurship. I'm still doing it, but from the IT engineering entrepreneurship, now I jumped into entertainment, which I call Tel 3.0. So right now I'm in the journey of 3.0, and then I keep going. And so it's cars, entrepreneurship, and entertainment is really my sandbox, if you will.
Amazing. And when you say, I love this Tel 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0. So when you say Tel 3.0, what is the stark difference between Tel 1.0 and 3.0?
1.0 is more about making a living. It's more about survival, right?
Right.
So when you come out of the college, all you wanted to do is get a job, and you get $100,000 job with a free car, with the pension, with the golden handcuff. You think you are done, but then you realize after the 12 years you were saying it's not done. You got to start all over again. And so, and the comparing to 3.0, 3.0 is not about survival. It's about, what can you do differently that you have not done before? And knowing that your time on planet Earth is limited, and with the limited time that you have, how can you do something for your heart, for your soul, for your passion, for the burning desire, whatever name you wanted to call, doesn't matter. But that's really what the stark night and day difference between the 1.0 and the 3.0. In simple words, one is survival, other I would say impact and purpose.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. I myself am a life coach and I so believe in this. I myself had something very similar. So I totally resonate with what you're talking about. So, how was it for you? I mean, the American dream, the big American dream. Do you think even today that exists? And, people are still seeing that dream and they are able to achieve that dream?
I think, yeah, the answer is yes. I mean, if you're willing to put in the hard effort, hard work, I think the dream is still very much possible. Although with the global economy, it is getting flattened. Maybe there is an Indian dream out there brewing up in the years to come. But still, nevertheless, the American dream still continue to exist because it's still a land of opportunities, still a great place for entrepreneurship and freedom of expression. And then, if you're willing to put in the time, effort, and energy, I think it is possible. And the opportunities are limitless, as your show says.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. We are limitless, and so are the opportunities and all the abundance around us. And you have proved that. You have proved that from a job in a foreign land, you can become an entrepreneur, you can follow your dreams, and you can make it come true. So you are an example of that. So tell us more about your book. You are also an author right now, and you have written a book called The Pursuit, and it's a book around social entrepreneurship.
Yeah, it's about social entrepreneurship. It's about it's really a pursuit of American dream, and then it also addresses societal, political, economic, all those different dimensions I talk about. And then I think the biggest message I wanted to put out is really much like we have in India, unity and diversity. We should celebrate the diversity, the melting pot of America. That's what brought America where it is today. And we should not deviate from that recipe. And so that's really what this book is all about. We have Republicans, we have Democrats, and they are going back and forth. Nobody has absolute control, and they are playing ping pong with the people, with the economy, with the social issues and everything. And so I'm looking at from a different vantage point of solving. Being an entrepreneur, I'm more about what is the unmet need? How do we solve that? And what should be the action steps towards that, at least from our standpoint. And the people are the power. It has been there since historical times. So for the current times, how all of us can come together and use our strength and set aside all the differences and really do something for the economy instead of, divide and conquer and putting one group versus another group. And so that's really what I'm talking about in that book.
Amazing. Sounds very, very interesting. Would you be able to, share a bit more as to, some of the steps that you talk about in the book? Because it sounds pretty intriguing for the audience who's watching you. If they want to pick up the book, just a little more about it. Maybe some couple of steps that you have shared around this.
Yeah, like the couple of, I mean, it traces my journey coming from a small town,
Mm-hmm.
a tier two town. I was not even in a metropolitan city when I was growing up. And then here I could even come there and look at the world's largest economy and look at all the political landscape. And then I am myself able to offer some solution that the government or the parties are not looking at. I mean, that's really what I want the readers to walk away with. It's not about me. It's not about this. It's about how could a person coming out of such a place can at least start writing a book, let alone making an impact. And that is really the message for anyone reading the book. So anything is possible if you put your mind through it. And then whether we accomplish or not, that is secondary. Of course, I want a proper solution to be in place, but that's really, tracing my journey, how unity and diversity is so important. Like, for example, I could even talk about Bangalore. Bangalore is a multicultural society in India, and people of all walks of life and all strength come and assemble. No wonder it is the Silicon Valley of India,
Absolutely.
right? And so if I were to say that is a microcosm, America is the macrocosm of such melting point, right? And then we already know that works.
Yes.
So why are we changing what is already working and mess it up? Why do you want to go from a first world country to a third world country by changing your identity? I mean, this is your DNA.
Yes.
And that's what I'm talking about is really every one of us have some strength and we should play to the strength. Although we can work on our weaknesses, but based on some scientific studies, you have a 95% chance of doing something good when you focus on your strength.
Yes.
You could put 95% of your effort on trying to address your weakness, but you're only going to have 5% improvement. So which one do you prefer? So whether it is person or whether it is a city, whether it is a state or a nation, the same thing applies. It applies to the games, it applies to the nation. And so that's really what I'm talking about. How do we take the collective intelligence and the collective strength and try solving real problems, whether it is healthcare, whether it is education, whether it is jobs. There are some areas, US could be at the top of the list. Some of these basic areas, we are at the bottom of the list. So that's really what I'm talking about and really saying this party, when they come to power, they complain about other party. This party comes and then they talk about the other party, and they all involved in fundraising, this and that throughout their election cycle. And then these major issues are still continuing to lag. I mean, the student loan problem we have, healthcare is a major issue, the largest in the world's economy, and it's not able to, take care of the basic healthcare needs of the citizens. And homelessness is rampant, and the wages are going. The divide between the rich and poor are really continuing to widen and widen. And so we need to really, if America were to have its economic superiority, they really need to think outside of the box, not just go by the old rules that got them here. If not for the value of the dollar, if not for the purchasing power of the dollar, you would not have this kind of prosperity in the years to come. And already digital currency is being floated around by China and other parts of the world. They are coming together. And so that's really what I'm talking about. I'm talking both at a macro level. I'm also talking at a micro level. And then how each one of us can contribute. We keep saying government, government, government. We should move away from getting handout from government. And then really what each one of us as a citizen can make a difference is really what I talk about in the book. And we the people, and we are the power. And sometimes we give away the power oh, that person will do it, that person will do it. And also not participating in the democratic process by not going to the polls and voting, because that is such a precious human right, and we underestimate, undervalue that.
Yes.
And you go to many countries, you don't have a voice, you can't even say a whole lot. And when you live in a democratic society, you are participating in the process. And just because we are not aware of the struggle the previous generations had, and we have forgotten, doesn't mean that it is free and that you can do whatever you want. And that's what I talk about in a very holistic way, how we can all bring the points together and connect the dots and collectively prepare the nation for the next decade.
Beautiful, beautiful. I truly love that. And in fact, recently the G20 summit, I think Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam was, what Mr. Narendra Modi had floated across. But the main point is, since you're talking about diversity and unity, I thought, it's basically Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, because every one of us, we have so many people in Bangalore from different cultures, as you said, and the same way in US, it's a melting pot. And
Yes.
that is what makes it so successful. That is what makes it, because people bring in their so much of talent, expertise in different fields, and that is what makes it what it is.
100%. And then you take the micro and apply to everywhere.
Yes.
You don't go to reinvent the wheel. It's already been invented by the people in Bangalore.
Yes.
Whether they come there for the pub life, whether they come for the weather, I don't know. I don't want to debate on why they are coming, but they are coming, and the economy is vibrant, and the social life is vibrant. All the key pointers needed for a vibrant economy, it's alive and well in Bangalore. And so I always look at Bangalore. Obviously, it's not me. Everybody knows it's the Silicon Valley of India.
Yes.
And so how do we take the same culture and apply into other parts of the country? Now you have, instead of one Bangalore, you have 10 Bangalore.
Yes.
Because they are welcoming everybody, right?
Yes.
So it's a welcoming city, and maybe other parts of the India should also be welcoming people from unity and diversity.
Yes.
Oh my God, this guy came from Allahabad, we should not let him do anything here. This guy came from here, we should not allow him. This is, and not focus on linguistic based, but focus mainly on economic prosperity for all of us.
For everyone, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because end of the day, that defines everything else.
Yes. Yes.
But,
because that's an excellent point, Anshu, and that's what I argue in my book, The Pursuit. That's what we need to focus on, not like creating fear again, pitting one community versus another, right? Democrat versus Republican. And then even within the Republican, right versus left. I mean, conservatives, hardcore guys, right-wing guys, but ultimately the economy is blind to all of them. Economy doesn't care about all of them.
Doesn't care.
Job creation doesn't care about it.
Absolutely.
Entrepreneurship doesn't care about all that. Entrepreneurship only cares about what is the GDP of the nation? How is the city coming along? How many jobs are you creating? How are you diversifying in different industries in the new economy with the artificial intelligence that's coming? How do we, are we going to have more jobs? Are we going to go? That's the conversation we have to have. Yes. Not all this, that back in the ancient days when dinosaurs were roaming around. I'm just kidding. When, those outdated practices and those kind of fear-based things must get out of our system and our nation is really what I talk about.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a very small way of thinking, rather than thinking large in the interest of everyone. If everyone's interest is taken care of, I think things automatically progress. But yes. I have also another question, because today, no matter who is ruling which nation, it's not even about that. The technology has made the world, and now with AI coming into the picture even more, where everyone has the opportunity. No matter which village, which city, which country you are in, what tribe or culture or caste you belong to, or what background for that matter. If you have an internet connection, you are having everything at your fingertips, and you can do and become, anything that you want to. What do you have to say about that?
No, I think as your show said, and I'm going to call it's limitless boundaries, right? So it's all about. I think the idea of the geographical limitations have been um, removed with the advent of internet, and although we have still visa, this and that, but in the digital economy that we are living in, there are no boundaries at all.
No boundaries, yes.
Yeah, and I think if we grasp that concept and start thinking in that direction, I think that will lead to economic prosperity. I suppose you are absolutely right. And with the AI kicking in, it's on steroids.
Yes.
We thought that internet created those boundaries. I mean, that smashed those boundaries. Forget about all that. I mean, that's nothing. That's like kindergarten work. Now with the AI, we are at a whole new stratosphere, if you will, creating a new era of limitless boundaries.
Yes. I actually saw that on your LinkedIn as well. And I was kind of smiling to myself that, okay, we share so many things so common to, our viewpoints, our mindset and everything. I was just smiling within.
Yeah, I mean, it's very simple, right, Anshu? Because once you are in that frame of mind, see, none of the ideas are coming. It's all already out in the universe.
Yes.
Energy can neither be created nor be destroyed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And thought is also an energy. It's already there.
Yes.
We are just tapping into the same energy, vibration, and frequency.
Yes.
And then it comes to us. But we think in our mind, oh my God, I invented. No, nothing I invented. It's already there. I'm just downloading it.
Absolutely.
And then when we are synchronized, our thoughts, our ideas, that's why, birds of same feather flock together.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And similarly, people of same mindset flock together.
Yes.
So the idea is to be in the same energy, vibration, and frequency is really what I believe. And I think that's a testament to what you just said.
Yes, absolutely.
I have not met you. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you are doing. But yet, the ideas and thought process are synchronized. And that's really what I'm talking about: collective strength, collective intelligence, collective thought. And whatever that is, it could be in this entrepreneurial pursuit, or it could be in a retail pursuit, or it could be an academic pursuit. We have so many different dimensions each one of us can pursue.
Absolutely. So I think you are also a lot into philanthropy, and that's also another aspect to you. Would you like to tell us what are the different initiatives that you are into?
Yeah, so the main initiative, I mean, I wish, not I wish, I mean, I should be doing more, but nevertheless, the areas that I'm involved in is mainly on education, on the job skill training. If I were to put them on the list, that's really my number one list. I'm a firm believer of teaching people how to fish as opposed to keep giving fish to them every single day.
Right.
And so to that extent, what I do is I try to, focus on both U.S. and India. But in the U.S., we in the city of Detroit, we have a lot of literacy issues where 50% of the population can't read and write. So I was involved in a program to help them read and write. And then the second thing, once they come out of that, help them on science, technology, engineering, and math. And then thirdly, focus on entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship doesn't mean it has to be high tech. It doesn't mean everyone has to be Bill Gates. Everybody has to be Elon Musk. Everybody has to be Mark Zuckerberg, right? Even having a party store or a gas station in your neighborhood is also entrepreneurship, right? Instead of going to the street, getting into drugs, this and that, how do we take those people and give them the tools and a pathway into entrepreneurship? They could become an economically viable citizens of the city. Is really what I'm focusing on. the idea is twofold. One is long term, try to take people going to the right side of the law, right? And going to the wrong side of the law and put them onto the right side of the law. And that starts with basic reading and writing. And one would not even imagine how could an advanced nation such as US with a local city that has so many people are still unable to read and write. It's an alarming problem that needs to be resolved at the fundamental level. And also the statistics also tell us that people who don't read and write, they have a extremely high likelihood of going behind the bars. So it's really in our best interest to really educate everybody and at least give them the basic. I'm not asking everyone to be like, Isaac Newton or Albert Einstein, but at least the basic that is needed to communicate in the modern world, we ought to be doing. So those are the initiatives that I'm involved in. I mostly spend my time on these kids, so that's why we have a foundation called Kaiba Kids Foundation. And I also did the same thing in India, but like I said, I need to do more. But those are my initiatives, and that's really what I believe that we can really solve some real problems and where the impact is really, really needed, all the way starting from reading and writing, and then giving them the basic science, technology, engineering, math skills, and then all the way up to the high school, give them some basic business entrepreneurial skills before they go into the street and get them onto the wrong side of the law. And then same thing on the Indian side, the issue is different. And I created a program for young girls working in an orphanage, was studying in an orphanage, and right when they come out, how do we give them some basic accounting skills, word processing skills, so they can get a job instead of going back into where they come from and get into those environment that is not conducive for their life. Put them into basic jobs, and these jobs, so that's what I was working on, to computer education, on the job, communication, and the word processing and basic accounting skills. I think in India we have a thing called Tally. So those kind of tools that I was, that's really what I believe that we should be doing, instead of giving them money and this and that, because that can only go so far. Whether you are a receiver of those donations or even a donor, your time is also limited. So you have to, at least I believe, we have to make a long-lasting impact into their life. So not only their life gets better, but the generations to come also gets better.
Totally. I think this is so right. Even I believe that, if you give them money, you will give it only once, twice, thrice. But if you teach them how to earn that for themselves, not only can they do it for themselves, but they can raise a generation that is also educated and is equally capable. But 100%. There is another factor to it, and you tell me, because I'm sure when you were 12 years into a job where in the beginning you thought that, you had realized the big American dream, and then you realized that, no, it was just a golden, bondage, what was happening. And then later you changed your mindset, you became an entrepreneur. So you were well educated, you were earning well, you were already in the US and everything, from far away, you would have looked like the most ideal person. But it was not so ideal, and you had to change your mindset from that person to come to this 3.0. So now you have been speaking about education, giving them entrepreneurial skills. I agree to all of that. But what about the mindset? Because even today, I see that children are educated, no doubt about it. But in the schools, they still do not teach the mindset that you require to be truly fulfilled 100%. In your life.
100%. And I think the way I would say it in one or two words, Anshu, is that we are creating a lot of paper tigers, and we are not creating real tigers that could survive in the jungle of life, right? And so our education systems, although they are making changes, they are still outdated. It was done when the agricultural economy was alive and well. And from there came the industrial economy. Now we are in the digital economy. From the digital, we moved into AI economy. But the education has not transformed the way our economies have transformed.
It hasn't. It hasn't.
Yeah, and our teachers have not transformed. And all the colleges and schools are more about making profit as about producing producing the next generation of entrepreneurs, right? And I think although with the startup culture that is slowly getting in, and we are getting better and better, especially in India. And I think the education system has to be completely disrupted for the current times, right? So that includes by saying, I think even in the US, we still have that. For example, we should address financial literacy, because financial literacy is going to be throughout your life.
Yes.
All the things you teach, why they're essential. Some of the things I learned, I don't even use them. I don't even know what they are, but they made me study, go and vomit them in the exam, and then grade this and that. And the parents are happy, and everybody is happy. Went to this school, you got married, you got a good bridegroom because of this score, yada, yada, yeah. So we were living somebody's life.
Yes.
But to live your life, the fundamental things, as you rightly identified with your question, the mindset. How do we create good mental wellness for the students? What would that look like, right? We talk about physical wellness, we talk about academic wellness.
Yeah.
We are not talking about the mental wellness, the spiritual wellness, the financial wellness,
the emotional wellness. Yes.
Yeah, and those are the things that's going to stay throughout your life until your last breath.
Yes.
And I think, and I think what we are, at least we are learning through our own mistakes, right? So somebody spend a lot of money, they go broke because we don't have that education, the financial education.
Yes.
That is why people who are poor become rich. People who win lottery ticket, they go back to poor. Doesn't matter how much money you make. If you're not able to manage what you have, doesn't matter whether you're a millionaire or a pauper, doesn't matter. The math is always the same. When you spend more than what you make, you're going to go broke.
Yes.
That kind of financial literacy ought to be there in the school system, number one.
Yes.
Number two, mostly to figure out what are the trends, what is changing in the landscape. Is this education relevant in the current economy that we live in? Is it for job creation, or is it to get some good grades? Are we preparing for the next generation or for the economy? Are we preparing for getting some good scores and, go and mug up stuff and vomit in an exam and then get graded? We should ask those fundamental questions to ourselves.
Absolutely.
Right. And the answers and the solutions lies in the question we ask. And if I were to ask those questions, I think our focus is off basis. We are chasing the wrong target. And that is why, if you really look at the employability, all the students, graduates coming out of our Indian educational system, I think our employability is at a very low 10 to 15%. I don't know what the percentage right now is, but I would say it is not more than 20% that I can take a bet on. Right? Which means that even though we educate them, 80% of the graduates are not good. They're not good for the economy. They're not good for what they were taught.
Right.
Right? So that is a fundamental problem that needs to be addressed. And who creates them? Our current educational system.
Yes.
So now, whether it is in the US or not, it's a debatable thing. But to me, it's also there. We still have those mental wellness issues, different mental wellness issues. We have guns, we have this. Then we have people not taking risks. They want to be entitled. They don't want to work hard. So there are other challenges in that regard. And then they go and study things that there are no jobs. The number of jobs in literature has gone down, but yet a lot of people want to go and study literature. I'm not going after the people in literature, but I'm saying the jobs are not there. The jobs are in AR, VR, digital, AI, those are the jobs that are changing, and so we have to be focusing on those kind of jobs. And similarly, we have to look across the whole educational spectrum and completely revamp and move away from profitability of the owners or the operators of the colleges, but more about keeping the economy in mind, because ultimately that's what is going to prevail. And that's why some colleges will go under. Some, even though they have a lot of seats, now the enrollments are going down in a lot of self-financing colleges. They have more seats than more students, and more students than more the jobs. And even if they graduate, still they are not employable. Even though we create more jobs, they are not able to put them to work. So these jobs, these issues, really, to me, the root cause of it is really coming from our educational infrastructure.
System. Yes, absolutely.
Right? And that is my core argument. But again, we have to, this is something, it's a huge problem that one person cannot solve, but collectively we can all raise our hand, parent by parent, starting at the kindergarten level, then going to the grade level, and then we keep going. But we cannot say, hey, this is what it is, and accept that as an yes, and we should not do that.
Totally agree. In fact, in India, at least, I'm seeing a lot of parents have started choosing alternative education over the mainstream education, where more holistic development is done for the child, his mental health, emotional, everything is taken care of much more better than any other mainstream educational school and everywhere. And that's one choice that the parents are already making here. And in fact, I'm not sure, Mind Valley, a company like Mind Valley, they have self-development courses now. Such companies are booming because people have realized that no matter what Ivy League college they are coming out from,
100%.
They are still lacking a lot of skills, not only the technical skills, but the life skills that they require to lead a good
100%.
Quality of life.
100%. It's like, if you think of life as a swimming, they don't know the skills to swim.
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, in India, a lot of kids who are like in 10th grade, 12th grade, they still commit suicide because they are not able to get the grades that is expected from them. And so, because they have not been taught how to take care of their mental health.
100%. And then unnecessarily, like I said, we are trying to create a lot of paper tigers for no reason.
Yes.
The only reason is that these companies that teach these kind of courses, they are the culprit because they induce these kind of things onto kids who are not mentally developed at that point in their life, and then putting them score this and that. But you and I know over time those scores don't matter.
Yes.
Heck, I didn't get good scores, yet I'm able to do so many things that was not part of the score. I still remember my botany teacher when I was doing 11th grade. I got 10 out of 100. He said, I will never succeed in my life. He gave me the paper. You're a total failure.
Yes.
Because I didn't like botany. I said, why should I go and study all these plants and this and that and all this big hibiscus, this and that? I said, wow, this is like Latin to me. I'm not interested. So I got 10 out of 100. And that's exactly when he gave the paper. He said, you are no good. You will never succeed in life. Why are you getting only 10?
So I hope you called him once you became a successful entrepreneur.
No, I think I don't want to rub it in. But the point I took out is that it doesn't matter. Those scores don't matter.
Yes.
In a grand scheme of things, what we call life. And what matters is these well-rounded skills that are balanced is what is needed. As you said, you could go to Ivy League school, but still you lack the base. You're not going to go too far, right? And then that's how I realized. Look, when I was in India, I wanted to go into IIT. I couldn't get admitted into IIT. The closest I could get was College of Engineering, Indy. So I always was obsessed and fascinated about IIT. But then I settled that score by having IITians work for me.
Right. Absolutely. I love that point. Yes.
Yeah. So if you cannot go to school, don't worry about it. Make those 5 guys work for you. You would hire an IIT professor. Why the hell you are? Why are you limited in your thinking? I said, wow, I'm so happy. IITians are working. I check the box.
So tell me, that brings me to my next question, that how did you develop this mindset? Because I'm sure from your college days it did not come to you. What changed? Did you find a mentor? There was someone to guide you? Were you reading self-help books? What was it that actually triggered this change in you?
I think the real triggers are is very simple, right? It's setbacks in life, really, and if you use the setback to your advantage, adversity is the greatest teacher of all. I'm not worried about the teachers that come to college, but everyone must go through adversity in their life, because that's how the mind operates. The mind doesn't like, jolly stuff, everything hunky-dory.
Everything smooth, everything going.
Yeah. Mind can only detect abrupt changes, abrupt setbacks. And then when you use that to your advantage, then you go to a greater heights. And if I were to take my journey, every fall, I have risen so high, more than the fall itself. So I know when I fall, I know I'm about to go up. So these days I start to welcome more falls and more setbacks. Of course, I'm not falling as I used to do before. I would say that really forced me, because I ask a question: what is the worst thing that can happen to me? I always say, worst thing, that I'll go back to India. Then I tell myself, okay, that's where I came from. How could it be worse?
Right. Absolutely.
So then I think in my mind, wow, then there's nothing there. Okay, then keep going.
Yes.
And then you find it's really, you're only constrained by your mindset, because you start to believe in scarcity mindset based on limited thinking that you have. And that's what you program, whether it came from your parents, whether you came from a society, doesn't matter. And then over time, I was able to remove those subconscious thought process that was already embedded, and started putting new ideas and thoughts. And then you try, and then as soon as it works, the mind, oh yeah, I can do it. So the mind gets tricked in its own ways, and that becomes part of your subconscious process. Because, let's face it, most of our ideas and processes we have, it comes from the subconscious, whether we know it or not, whether we accept it or not. That's how it works. It's all programmed already, and only 5% of the time you are aware what you're doing, right? Because even this interview, one of the things is already there. It's just coming out. I'm not in a conscious state. I'm answering. It's already there.
Yes.
And so I think that's really how I would put that in there.
Absolutely. Totally agree. Adversity is the best teacher. If you look at it as an opportunity, opportunity. But if you get stuck, why it is happening? If you're asking the wrong questions, you're going to get wrong
100%.
answers.
Well said. You nailed it. It's a double-edged sword.
Yes.
You could cut yourself if you go and, oh my God, I'm a poor thing. This happened to me. Why did this happen to me? I did all this thing. God, then you go to the temple and keep praying. Why is this happening? Why is this happening? And you keep asking, then more things will keep happening.
Yes. You attract the same things that you think about, focus on, put your energy to.
Yeah. And you go to the other side. This, I'm not going to let it happen. This is my teacher. I got my lessons. I know it's expensive lesson, but guess what? I'm going to do that. Then you keep focusing on it. Voila, in about, month, 2 or 6 months, even a year, doesn't matter. As long as you get it up, you made it, right?
Yes.
And so that's how I look at it. So that's what shaped me even today, is that. And then I ask the most basic question all the time. Look, I know every single day, all I am doing is I'm marching towards my final destination. The moment we are born, everybody is working so hard to meet the death, right? That's what we are doing without knowing.
Yes.
Yeah, you can go to the school, we can get educated, you get married, you have kids, you retire, blah, blah, blah. But ultimately, that's what in a subconscious manner we keep doing, right? And we live only once. anyhow we're going to die. How could it be? How could it be any worse than that?
Yes.
Right? So when you start framing, your mental wellness get better, you get strength, you get energy, and then you, from a limitful thinking, you go into limitless thinking. And then you start something small and make it work. Wow, this is working. Then move to the other. Wow, that's also working.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Wow, I can go to America. I can get go to a college, get a master's. Wow, I made it. Well, I got a job at Chrysler. What cool. Oh, I can become an entrepreneur. Cool. IT, engineering. Oh, I can also make movie. I can do music. Oh, nobody can stop me. Wow, wow, really? Okay, keep going.
Yes.
So then you are in the journey of what the limitations are.
Yes.
And who imposes this limitation? Is it you? Or is your uncle? Or is your girlfriend or the wife or whatever? And then you answer the question, it's not, it's really you putting those limitations.
It's only you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And everybody has to go through their own salvation, and everybody has to answer their own questions. And I think, as you said, asking the right questions give you the right solution.
Yes.
And over time, I realize that's what I tell most of the people, like, ask the right questions.
Yes.
And the right answers will come. You ask the wrong question, wrong answers will come. And don't blame anybody, blame yourself.
Absolutely. And that's the difference between a success cycle and a vicious cycle. Whether you 100%. Want to be a part of a success cycle or a vicious cycle in life, that we have to decide, because we are the owners of our own destiny.
So, 100%.
Thank you. We move on to the next round. It was phenomenal. I loved everything that you spoke about. So moving on to the next round, which is the lightning bolt round, where I'll be asking you short, questions which require maybe a one-word, one-liner answers. And so here we go. So who has been the biggest inspiration in your life?
I have a lot of people, depends on the dimension. Like, in terms of disruption, I would say Elon Musk. In terms of peace, I would say Gandhi, Martin Luther King. In terms of spirituality, I would say Sri Ravi Shankar. So like this, I have, different people to draw from different dimensions.
Perfect. And who do you love the most in life?
My son.
Okay, great. And what if I have to ask you your top 3 books that you might have read in your life? Which are the 3 books or anything else that really stuck, with you, that you would recommend to people?
I think How to Make Friends by Dale Carnegie is a number 1 book that I recommend to anybody. And then there's another book by Rockefeller Habits, because that really changed a lot of things I have done. And then I would also recommend the book from Sri Ravi Shankar on the spirituality. I forgot the name, but I think this journey within, I think it talks about a lot of things, his own life. So that kind of grounds you in different perspectives of life.
So did you ever have a mentor? Was there anyone to handhold you, guide you, and help you in this journey?
I think very early on, I had a mentor called Frank Stella, who passed away about 10 years ago. So he taught me a lot of stuff. And, especially the one I learned from him was every Saturday he dedicated for other people. He was a big businessman. And every Saturday he would give 5 hours to everybody. He would sit in his office. Anybody can go and ask for his guidance. And 5 days he worked for making money. The 6th day he was working for others without any expectation. And 7th day is a day off. So I learned that from him, many different aspects of entrepreneurship, giving back, and how to treat people, how to embrace people from all walks of life, not based on their status, not based on how much money they make, but really taking the humanity as a big picture.
Wow. And
yeah, so I think those things really shape up my life.
I'm sure. I'm sure. I really love it. Work for money for 5 days, and then one day you dedicate yourself to uplifting others, and one day maybe for your family or yourself. So that's so beautiful. I mean, that is called quality of life. That is the quality of
Yes,
life that you're leading,
yes, yes.
right? Do you have any non-negotiable rituals that are very crucial to you? No matter how busy you are going to do this in a day.
Yeah, I think the as soon as I wake up, I do a lot of affirmations and manifestations.
Mhm.
I believe that without that, I don't start the day because that to me, that sets the tone and the mindset. I don't just go into social media, what's going on Instagram, this and that, and get depressed. So I look for some good things I can program. So I start with that. I have a headset, I have an affirmation in there, and I put it in, and I start the day with that. The first 10 minutes is really that sets the tone. And no
Beautiful.
matter what, wherever I am, I do that. That is my ritual. And I keep doing that, followed by meditation and then some exercise. Most of the days, I may skip the exercise, but the meditation and affirmation, I don't miss.
Wonderful. And what are the three core values of your life that guide you in all your decisions?
Yeah. So one of the core value is really top of the list is excellence. That's also for the company, and I call them best of the best. I always try to be the best of the best, and I even have an acronym called Bob, best of the best. So I always try to be the Bob in everything that I do, because there is no room for mediocrity in this world. With mediocrity, you're not going to go anywhere. So you have to.
Anywhere.
Doesn't matter what it is, right?
Yes.
If I'm going to do the affirmation, I'm going to be the best in my affirmation, right?
Yes.
Number one. The number two is really, uh, I would say, more about discipline, right? I'm extremely disciplined and I stick to the process no matter what. And I always tell people jokingly, look, if you're that sick, you have to be in the hospital. And if you're not in the hospital, you are good to be disciplined to do anything. So don't give excuses and don't complain, just do it. So discipline is very important. And third one is happiness. That's my core value. As we talked about balance of life, to me, happiness is the mother of all goals in life. Because if you ask a question 5 times, since we believe in questioning, right questions, if you ask, why are you doing this? 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 Ultimately, the answer is happiness. It's the mother of all goals, right? Why are you going to college? Why are you getting a job? Why are you getting married? Why do you have a mansion? Why do you have a car? Why do you have a kid? Why do you have a grandkids? Interestingly enough, the answers to all those questions ultimately is happiness. And so if we and so that's why I try to do that regardless of all the stress and everything. My goal in life is to be happy. And that's why the pursuit of happiness. And that's why the book also kind of some way I put the pursuit is really that's what you're really. But now lately I'm saying don't keep pursuing, just be happy. Leave the pursuit out is what I'm saying.
Yes. Yes. We can be happy in this moment. So why pursue it? Why we can just have it.
Exactly. And the moment now is the only real moment.
Absolutely. We don't even know whether there will be a next moment or not.
100%.
Right. Love.
Yeah, it may sound cliche, but that is the truth, though. But we don't want to accept that as a truth, and we live in a world of Maya illusion, and we keep going. And so, how do we get out of that and get grounded and pursue the journey? Then your journey will be not only useful to you, but also useful to so many people around you, and that's really where I'm focused on right now. I start focusing less on myself, focusing on others. When we focus on others, automatically I'm taking care of myself.
Yes.
It's kind of counterintuitive, and that is why I also believe in giving back, because when you give back, actually you're getting more.
You are the actual person who is getting much, much more than that person, and you need to thank them that they gave you an
Exactly.
opportunity to serve them.
Yes, exactly. And if you get into the mindset, then the giving will, as opposed, oh my God, I'm giving this, do this, all this mathematical calculation that we are so wrongly taught in the school, we go
Yes.
nowhere. Get rid of those math and do the real math in life.
Absolutely. I mean, you are just a medium. If you truly want to know why you're doing something, universe is making you that medium to get
100%.
done something good from you. So you just need
Yes.
to thank them,
Yeah. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed.
not destroyed. So true. And just the last thing, what is that thing which gives you a lot of joy, a lot of happiness? So if you find free time, what are a couple of things that you love doing?
Yeah. I love kayaking. I do the kayaking a lot of time. I do yoga. I jump on the boat. I go for walking. Those try to be in a much open space, opens my mind. I feel claustrophobic sitting inside the room, sitting inside the boardroom, sitting inside homes, hotels. I like to be out in the open in the nature. So whenever I could do that, and I think I feel somewhat connected to the universe. I feel some expansion of mind. Let me put it that way. When I'm in these spaces, much like the space, I believe, at least for me, I feel like constrained. So my thought process and everything gets constrained. And most of my ideas and thoughts come from when I'm outside the place,
Outside.
outside my city, outside my office, outside my boardroom. None of those things that I implemented came from any of the places that
Right.
is very familiar to me. It came from unfamiliar place. So that's why I go and do these kind of unfamiliar things that so the mind doesn't know the, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Right. What are just the last, I mean, three affirmations that you would like to share with the audience that you do every day? Just three of them.
Yeah. I am excellent and I'm always going to be excellent. And the second thing, I'm going to keep doing no matter what. And third, I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing this for my impact and for my legacy. So the legacy I leave behind exceeds the biological age of my time on planet Earth.
Right.
And I mean, that's really what I'm working on right now. I'm not even focused on what I'm going to do in the time that I'm given. I'm trying to do things that beyond, much like Mahatma Gandhi, much like all those people who, but their legacy continued to outlive their existence. And
Yes.
what is that I can do? Obviously, I don't want to compare, myself to those icons of the world. But what I am trying to do is how do I take a small part of what they have done,
Yes.
even if I have impacted 10 people, 20 people, 30 people, then I have done my life to the fullest.
Yes.
That's really my point.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. It was a lovely share. And where can the audience find your book?
Yeah, so the book is on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if they Google my name and Amazon, to
Mm-hmm.
put the pursuit, it shows up on almost on every retailer. I
Mm-hmm.
think I checked last time it's in India, and then here it's almost with every retailer in the US. But
Mm-hmm.
for the Indian audience, I think the easiest way is to Amazon, my name, and the book shows up.
Okay, wonderful. That sounds great. Any
Yeah,
last message that you want to leave people with?
I think we have all of us have only one life. All of us have only limited time. And time is the most precious commodity. And we may not know that when we are young because we have a lot of abundance of time. But after a while, you reach some success and everything. You may have everything what you may not have is the time. So using the time wisely, not only for yourself and others, is to me, it is the most precious commodity more than the money itself. And for some, it may not resonate right now, but I know eventually at one point in your life it will resonate. So to me, I wish somebody told this when I was young. I would have latched onto it. I would have done a lot more things better. But that's really my uh, uh, biggest pointer to anybody is to really use the time wisely. And because Now I want to do certain things. I can't go and buy my time. It's already decided how much time I got. So don't involve in negative things. Don't try to self-sabotage. Don't, go after other people. There are limitless opportunities, limitless possibilities, and create a limitless life with your limitless mindset that you have is really my message.
Thank you so much, Tel. It was an absolute honor to have you on this show and for adding so much of value and so much of your experiential wisdom to the people who are watching you. And I wish great success to the book. May everyone purchase it and read it. And really, I'm sure their life would change because the kind of wisdom that you have shared with us, we know the book is worth a lot. So, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Anshu. Thank you for having me on your show. I wish you the very best to you and your listeners, and everyone have a wonderful, excellent, positive life on this planet Earth.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye now. Yes.
Bye bye.